All right, welcome to the video on area and circumference of circles. So, first is we need some equations. All right, so the formula for area of a circle. The area is going to equal pi, and then your radius squared. So R is going to stand for radius there. And then for circumference, circumference is the outer part of the circle, so think of a pizza crust. And area would be the inside of the pizza, so like the dough, the pizza sauce, all that to cover it. And circumference is going to be crust, so that's going to be 2 times pi times your radius. There's actually another formula if you find it more useful. If you have 2 of your radiuses, that is the same thing as a diameter. And so you can also use the formula circle equals pi times your diameter. Okay? So those are our 3 formulas we're going to be using to solve these. So the directions say for find the area for circles 1 through 4. So think about we're finding area on 1 through 4. All right, so number 1, 12 meters stands for your radius because it's from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle. So I'm just going to substitute it into my formula. Area equals pi r squared. So area would equal pi 12 squared. Okay, so let's type that in the calculator. All right, so in our calculator, the pi button is located in here next to the exponent button in blue. So you're going to hit the blue button and then not the division sign, blue button and then the arrow button. All right, and then I'm going to type in my radius and then square it with this button to the left of the comma. Okay, you don't have to put multiplication symbols, parentheses, anything. We'll do it all for you. When you type it in the calculator, we're going to round to 2 decimal places. So that would be 452.39. That was a little bit backwards. All right, and so now we're going to talk about our units. So if it is area, that is going to be our units squared. So it would be meters squared. So that will be the area of a circle with the radius of 12 meters. All right, now this answer is not exact because it's rounded because pi goes on forever and ever and ever, and it stands for 3.14159, yada yada. So another way you could see this answer is written in the exact order, which would be to leave pi out of the calculator. And to do that, you would just figure out what 12 squared is. So 12 squared is 12 times 12, or you could type it in. 12 squared is going to be 144. Okay, so this answer is the same thing as 144 pi. Okay, and you could check that work and type it in with pi to see if your answers match up. So I could type in 144 and then pi, and I get my same 2 exact answer choices. Okay, so this one is more exact, and this is the rounded answer. So if on IXL it wants an exact answer, you would put in pi form, or if it wants a decimal, you could totally type it in. Let's look at number 2. Again, I'm still looking for area, but in this one I do not know my radius. So in fact, they gave me the whole thing was 18, so you're going to need to half it, 18 divided by 2, or cut it into 2 pieces to get 9 and 9. So your radius is going to be 9 for number 2. So now I can substitute it into my formula. Area equals pi r squared. Area equals pi 9 squared. And if I want to leave it in exact terms, I'm going to type in 9 squared, or 9 times 9, which is 81. So the area is going to be 81 pi. Or you can type in the calculator and get your rounded answer. So let's do that together. 81 pi will give you an answer of 254.47. And then we just got to make sure we're going to use our correct units. And so again, if this is area, it's going to be squared. So I would have inches squared. I kind of ran out of room there. All right. All right, I'm going to skip 3 and 4 for now because you guys are going to try them on your own. But that is how you find area of a circle given the radius or given the diameter. So let's jump down here to 5 and 7. And the directions again said for 5 through 8 to find the circumference. So I'm going to use one of these two formulas. On number 5, you can see that they gave you the radius. So I'm going to use this first formula, c equals 2 pi r. So my radius is 7, so I'm going to substitute that in. So c equals 2 pi 7. Now all of these terms are getting multiplied. So if I wanted my exact answer, I would multiply the 2 and the 7 to get 14 and drop down pi. So 14 pi is my exact answer, but if I want to know what that would be rounded, let's type in 14 pi to get 43.98. All right, it's important to talk about units here. So circumference is how far it takes me to travel the entire way around the circle, which is distance, and so that's why it is just millimeters. It is not millimeters squared. So area has units squared, circumference does not. All right, one more, let's try number 7. So we can tell in this picture that they gave you the diameter was 58. You could find the radius if you wanted to and half 58, but I do have a formula for diameter and circumference, so I'm going to use that one. C equals pi d. So I'm going to plug in my diameter, so C equals pi 58, and I'm done. So the circumference is actually 58 pi. And again, if you wanted to type it in the calculator, approximately that would be 58 pi to get 182.21. Again, let's check our units. Our units are yard. And since it's circumference, it's not yards squared. Okay? So this is a simple way of finding the area or the circumference. We're just going to be substituting in numbers and picking the correct equation. For time's sake, I'm going to skip these. You can check your answers online and press pause and try them on your own. But we are going to move on. It can get trickier because you actually may have to work backwards. So let's look at some examples. For time's sake, I'm going to skip number 9 and talk about 11 and 12. All right, so I'm going to find the radius of a circle with the circumference this time. So first off, let me pick a correct formula of circumference and radius, which will be C equals 2 pi r. I'm going to substitute what I know in. 35 pi is my circumference, so I'm going to put that on the left side and drop down my right side. All right, I'm trying to solve for my radius. I'm trying to get it by itself. They're all being multiplied on the right side. So in one swoop, I can divide by 2 and pi to get r by itself. You do it to one side, do it to the other side. So let's talk about what cancels. 2 divided by 2 is a 1, which cancels. Pi divided by pi is a 1, which cancels. Also on the left side, you also have another pi, which cancels. So we have 35 divided by 2 as your final answer for your radius. Oops. 17.5. So your radius, 17.5. Now your units are yards because radius is a length. Okay. Number 12, again, I'm trying to find the radius, and this time it's going to give me the area. So I'm going to have to work backwards. So I'm going to use the same formula for area of a circle. So area of a circle is pi r squared. And let's substitute what we know. So 380.13 is your area, and that's equal to pi r squared. So again, I'm trying to get r by itself, so I'm going to have to divide by what is in front of r, which would be pi this time. So pi is going to cancel out on the right side, but unfortunately not on the left side. So we're going to type this in the calculator. So 380.13 divided by, and then find your pi symbol. So that would be 120.999, so let's just go ahead and round that to 121. So that's on the left side. And on the right side, you still have that r squared. So to get r by itself, the opposite of a squared is going to be a square root. So I'll switch colors. I'm going to square root both sides. That'll get rid of the squared, leaving you with r. And then the square root symbol is in blue right here. So you're going to hit the blue button and then the x squared button of 121 to get 11. So your r is going to be 11. Let's look at our units. We've got inches. And since radius is a length, it's not going to be inches squared. It will just be inches. Okay? All right, so again, if you want to try some on your own, feel free to try 9, 10, 13, and 14. The answer key is online. You can check your work. Let's do one more problem. So as hard as it can get is this one, where you are trying to find an area given circumference. So unfortunately, there is no way to directly go from one to the other. Where you have to meet at is they both have an r in common. If you can find the radius, you can kind of interchange between these two formulas. So let's look at the first one. I know the circumference is 26 pi. So let me use my formula for circumference, 2 pi r. Let's substitute what we know. Circumference, 26 pi will go on the left, equals 2 pi r. So let's solve for r. We're going to divide by 2 pi. Divide by 2 pi. Now a lot of things are going to cancel. Pi's cancel, 2's cancel, and this pi will cancel. So half of 26 is going to be 13. So you know your radius is going to be 13. So now if I know my radius, I am able to find area by plugging it into my other formula. Area equals pi r squared. So area would equal pi, your radius squared. So if you wanted to leave it in terms of pi, you would figure out what 13 squared is, which I do believe is 169. And then drop down your pi. And if you wanted to see that decimal again, you would type in the calculator 169 pi, which is 530.93. All right, so let's talk about our units. If I'm finding area, you're going to be squared. So my units are feet, so it'd be feet squared. And that is your final answer. Okay? I'm going to do one super fast because I'm running out of time. I got 2 minutes, so this video gets cut off. I am sorry. All right, we're going to find circumference. If I know area, so again, area equals pi r squared. Your area is 113.1 equals pi r squared. Step 1 is to solve for your r. So you have to divide by pi on both sides. 113.1 divided by pi ends up giving you 36, and you've got r squared. So to get r by itself, you have to get rid of the 2, the squared, by square rooting both sides. So your radius is a 6. So now if you have your radius, you can totally find circumference by using another formula. So circumference is equal to 2 pi r. My r is a 6, so 2 pi 6. So circumference is 2 times 6 is 12 pi. Or if you type it in the calculator, you will get 37.7 something. Now our units, again, circumference is distance, so I'm going to keep inches. So area is the only one that will not be, or that will be squared, whereas the other one will just be in the units it came in. All right. So again, that's as hard as this problem can be, is going from one to the other and vice versa. But as long as you select the correct formula and solve for each variable correctly, you will be okay. So if you want to try these 4, there is an answer key on Canvas for you to check your work. If you have any questions on area circumference, let me know. But thank you for watching this video.